It's 57, 58?
57 is one we just did. We're on episode 58.
You could say 57 if 57 was a bust.
Yeah, 57 sucked, so we're going to redo 57.
57 wasn't a bust.
It's gonna be the
So
number
we're
one.
a 57 redo.
Yeah, we're the redo crew.
That's all we could get. We apologize.
We have 10 minutes of content.
Here, let me
40 minutes of
apologize
episode.
first. I apologize for what might or might not be said during this podcast and the quality thereof.
Welcome to the Slightly Serious Sign Podcast. This is episode 58. Thank you. I was just
We're doing a
emphasizing.
Domingo
I thought we
intro
were a
here.
57 redo.
No, 57 was okay. 58. So we're episode 58. Who sponsors us?
It's still DeWalt. We haven't fixed it.
DeWalt, because we're still under construction. We welcome this week one and a half of our sales reps, maybe two of our sales reps, the ones that have the nicest hair in the company. That's what we brought. It's Mike Degeeter, Craig Gray. They're both upset that they had to wear these headphones and mess their hair up. So if you're not watching on YouTube, make sure you turn to YouTube so you can see how messed up their hair is.
I think these headphones will make my hair frizzy.
It already has.
It is a little bit. It's standing
Is
up.
it?
It already has.
I like it. I like what you've done with it.
You got more hair in your mustache than you do on your head.
You ought to see my back.
No, thank you.
Is that an invitation?
That's another podcast.
That one's subscription level. I can't show that one on the regular podcast.
Listen, who's our only subscriber? You could put it
Don
free.
Long.
Don Long would watch it.
Don Long. If
They're
you would
friends.
like that as a bonus episode, Don, just leave a comment on this. We'll have to have Craig send in a clip. Or next time you ride with Craig, you just take the video. We'll upload it for you so you can have it
This
for
would be
forever.
a shout out to the Don father. It's what we do, buddy. It's what we do.
We love you, Don. We
I
love
feel
you.
like every time Craig calls me, somehow Don's in the car with him. I don't understand how it works.
He's the only rep that rides with me that it has his own hairbrush and a 5-hour energy drink in the door for him.
You asked me when I was riding in the back of your car. He said, whose do you think this is? It was this little, it looks like a doll's hairbrush. It's like this big.
It's a
And I was
girl's
like-
brush.
I was like, oh, that's Don's for sure. And he just laughs. It was Don's. It's true.
Envious of that beautiful silver hair.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Donnie.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Mine would be that same color if I didn't dye it.
Yeah, I think mine would be too, but we'll never know.
I'd let my hair grow long, but then I'd have to buy a leisure suit.
You know what? We're probably going to remind Craig at least 4 or 5 times. He's 40 years older than us. What's a leisure suit?
Yeah.
Is that something just created?
that
or-
one-
All I can tell you is in the leisure suit days, if you got too close to a flame, you could become a shrinky dink.
Is that the
Pure
suit with the
polyester,
pad? With the pad
100%.
on the elbow?
No. That was.
That's like the
suit coat.
I actually have a sport coat that has.
Those are the smoker
pads on them.
jacket. Smoker jacket?
No, it's not a smoker jacket, but I thought it looked cool, so I bought it.
Do you still wear it?
I carry it in my car once in a while.
It's nice.
You never know.
It's his closing suit.
Oh, that's
You got a big piece of equipment coming up. He watches Mark do it. He figured I got to try this too.
I got you. Yeah. Oh, I got a big
you
sale.
never, you
I got
never
a big
know when
sale.
you're going to be with Mark. You got to be ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you know?
true.
It's funny when he walks in and he doesn't realize that they're interested in buying equipment. They mention it and then he has to run back out to his car and come back in with his jacket on.
wait. I got to get
Hold
some
on.
gel.
Do you want me to do the walk? I can do the walk.
No, I
I
don't.
can do the walk.
You could get out of the stool fast enough. We're stuck in here. Rick
So
just told
anyways.
us to slide in. None of us could move. We're all on these stationary stools.
Let's start with Craig. He can introduce himself, name, number of years in the industry, where you've been from, family. Give us and what you do for Wensco or what you try to do.
What I try to do with Wensco is promote the brand and sell things. add a little customer service to the day. But I started in this industry actually right out of high school. 1976. It was supposed to be a summer job. My dad owned a sign shop.
I was born in 75.
77.
I know. I'm telling you.
You can do the math.
I'm telling you, you can touch me if you want.
Maybe he might have started at like 2, you know?
Oh, yeah. He graduated early.
There wasn't child labor laws back then, so they were just
Yeah, that's possible.
straight out of kindergarten into the sign shop.
Yep.
I mean, he could still be in his 60s.
Yeah, I was. I wish. Well, I am, actually. But no, I got started with him and just did the normal sweeping the floors, cleaning the toilets.
Where was that at?
Stuff. A company called Showstrom Signs in Rockford, Illinois. My dad owned that. So I thought it would just be a quick summer job, and then I ended up liking it, and I liked the $1.298 he paid me an hour, so I stayed. And then from there, I graduated to posting billboards, which is an art that's really not done anymore. And then graduated into sign fabrication and then sales, and then liked it a lot. And my first job was in distributor sales outside the fabricating sign industry with a company called Wholesale Electric Neon Supply Company out of Grand Rapids. They had a location in Elk Grove Village. That would be Wensco, for those of you from Grand Rapids.
We're also not in Elk Grove for some reason.
It went at Elk Grove.
You're not in Elk Grove anymore.
It was probably the sales staff. So we're not there.
Yep, and that could be, yeah. I was one of half the sales staff. But then I went to another company up in Wisconsin for 21 years, and then COVID hit. They were bought out by another company, and then I found my way back to Wensco, and it was actually a really good fit. It was a great choice on my part, and we just have a great crew all the way down, top down.
Do you want to tell them how you got your interview again? I feel like you told me the story.
Yeah, my interview. So I had a number of manufacturer reps that kept calling me during COVID saying, Wensco, but I really couldn't because I was kind of still tied to the other company. So once they actually cut me loose, I called and I left a message for my sales manager now named Tony Walkons. He never returned my call. And I get this call from Judy Nelson one day, and she's like, what in the world's going on? So we chit-chatted for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I said, oh, by the way, I left Tony a voice message. Like, I don't know, I might be exaggerating this, but maybe half hour later, I get a call from Tony. This was on a Friday. I had a meeting with him, I think, on like Monday or Tuesday, and the rest is history.
That's funny.
It's like winning the lottery for me.
Being at Wensco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all of us had that same feeling.
Agreed.
Oh, you love me, man. I know you do. I know you do. You rode with me for 2 days and you were speechless.
Yeah, the whole time. Yeah. Couldn't get a word in.
Couldn't get a word in.
All right.
That's Craig. Family? Where do you live now?
Yeah, I still live in Rockford, Illinois. I've lived there. I just call that my hometown now. Been married to Helen for it'll be 41 years next month. She actually won the lottery when she married me, but that's probably not going to go over that great when she hears that. But
she's going to listen to this.
Yeah, probably, but she's awesome and she knows it. She's also hot in a pair of blue jeans. And then I have 3 boys. My oldest lives out in San Jose, works at Stanford University. My middle kid is an IT manager in Rockford in manufacturing. And my youngest is a golf course superintendent. He works currently at Oak Park Country Club, and he's been at Oakland Hills and Crooked Stick, and he just loves it. I got 3 grandchildren.
That's what Craig does on Fridays. That's why he doesn't make any calls.
Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, Tuesdays.
It's Tuesdays and sometimes other days of the week.
Well, you never know. I might get a call. I have to be ready.
Yeah.
I have to be ready. Ask Scott Bell.
Yeah.
So
he just calls you, hey, let's meet there.
That's right.
Also, Rick's yelling at you for tapping on the table because the mic's picking it up. So
I told you.
That was me.
Rick, he holds a lot of cards.
Am I driving you nuts, Rick?
He doesn't have
the worst part about the tapping on the table at this point is I have no idea if it's me hearing it
It's
or
me.
if it's if it's me hearing it outside of my mic or me hearing it inside the mic. So then I was like, if I can't hear it in my headphones, I mean, it's not going to make any difference. But
It's
the
not
problem
happening.
is I can't tell the difference. I have no clue whether it's in my headphones or not.
Who
I'm
was
just-
the other person that kept pounding the table? Who was
Troy.
that? Oh, it's Troy from Geneva. Kept
Yeah.
pounding the table. He kept going. We're like, you got to stop.
That's what happens when we bring sales reps onto this podcast. They hit the table.
I know, we're
Stop.
fidgety. We're fidgety. You know?
Always messing with something.
Fidgety. That's
gotta-
why we like to drive around
gotta-
in cars and look out the front windshield. You know,
Yeah.
it's
He doesn't like to sit still. That's his whole problem. That's how he
But
got
no,
into
I got to
sales.
finish with just my 3 grandkids because they're freaking awesome. My oldest grandson or oldest granddaughter is Chloe. She's like 15, and then Russell's 11. They're awesome. And then lo and behold, back in November, we had our third, Theo. So there's an 11-year gap between those guys, and it's awesome. I think Helen likes it more than me, but it's still pretty cool. So,
Yeah, we talked on the last podcast. I had to take Nova, my granddaughter, to Build-A-Bear. It was one of the worst experiences of my life.
How did that bear turn out?
It was a monkey. And you have to listen to the episode. It'll come on next Monday, but yeah, you'll hear all about it. It's
It was
not
a pretty
my
traumatic
It is
experience
not
for
my
him.
cup of tea. I thought I was going to die in there. We talked about how many kindergartners would it take to kill you. I think there was enough in there. I was
Yeah.
getting nervous. I wish I would have had my pistol, just in case.
You need self-defense and Build-A-Bear.
But listen, 18 kindergartners is way calmer than Tyler's 2 kids. We said last time, go on my Instagram. You will see exactly what I'm talking about.
That's
so
possible.
whose grandkid was that jumping off the couch?
That's the
mine.
video we're
Was that
talking
one of
about.
yours?
That's the video we're
He's
talking
out of
about.
control.
Okay, he stuck that landing. That was pretty good. that was
He used,
pretty good.
he used to go straight to his butt. Now we're
Yeah, he used to jump off that
Almost on
high
our feet.
and land on his butt. Like he's
out
a
of
menace.
control.
There was a moment when I was watching that. I was like, "Where's
this
everybody? Who's
real?
going to catch this dude?" Like, and then, wow, that was great. That was
That's
great.
a launch too.
Yeah,
He
that
can
was
launch.
that was good.
Once
That was
again, if
really
you're
good.
listening, just go to my Instagram. You'll see this kid absolutely launch. And they built up the couch, so he's like jumping from like 8 feet up, I think, and
not quite-
halfway across the room.
The ceilings aren't quite tall
you
enough.
guys got to
otherwise
get
we'd
him a
try.
foam pit.
We have one. It doesn't work for a ball pit. The problem is they dump out the balls and then jump in the pit. That doesn't really do you any good at all. So I don't understand
Defeats the
it.
purpose.
But they're trying their best. But yeah. So that's Craig. Mike, you want to do your intro? Who you are, how long you
it's a
been
hard
around?
act to follow, Craig. So been with Wensco since 1998, and been on this side of the industry, within the industry the whole time. I've never worked at a sign shop or anything like that. Had the fortunate times to be in a ton of sign shops over the years, but it's been great. Like I said, since 1998 when I started Wensco. Oh gosh, Mike, we're let's see, driver, warehouse, customer service, tech, sales rep, half a sales rep, and yeah, it's been a great ride.
Automotive, tech,
Automotive,
sales.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, automotive, yeah, a little jump around, maybe left a few times, came back home, and it's been great. It's been a great ride. It's a great industry, as we all already know. All the people that you meet in this industry and how helpful everybody is to help you along. So, and you get to work with guys like this. I mean, come on, where else are you going to go? So, yeah, so it's been great. I got 2 daughters, 25 and 20, and they are they're doing great in life, doing their thing, and my lovely wife Tara, and life as well. Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good ride. So happy to be here, and thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So if people that didn't know, we just had it wasn't really a manager's meeting. It was kind of a key person meeting. And I just said, Craig and Mike, come with me. And we literally sat them down and just start a podcast. That's kind of how we do it around here. So we don't give them any prep. We don't give them any works. We don't even have any questions to ask them, do we?
No, I don't even have any notes. Well, you noticed 2 episodes in a row, I have nothing. Well, now that you can see it, like before it was kind of hidden, but now there's a third camera. So you can see I physically have nothing with me this time to talk about. So last time I at least had a...
We got 30 more minutes.
Oh, we do? Okay. So Mike, you've been here at Wensco how long then?
Just over 20 years. Yeah, well over 20 years. Yeah.
And have you worked at
And-
Iowa the whole time?
Yes, Iowa branch the whole time. I've been fortunate to be able to travel all the branches. The only one I haven't been to at the moment is Louisville. So it's been cool to see other branches and just how everything's set up. And yeah, so that's been great.
So what do you think like the biggest changes you've seen in the last 20 years of Wensco?
Yeah, that is just, I mean, this industry has, to see how it has grown and how things have changed, especially on the technology end. It's just, when you look at printers and how that whole thing has come about. I mean, I remember back in 98, what it was, the Roland PC60 with the cassettes. And you had, and just like a regular cassette player, it might get caught in there and tear something up. Yeah, I mean, just how technology and everything has changed, how fast paced it is. That part of it's, really changed, just as how fast paced the technology, and just overall, just the industry, I think, has grown into something that is really, I mean, the cool thing is too in this industry is, like, I have a customer in Iowa that one of the schools is going to start offering signs and graphics as part of their shop classes, which is great. So that shows how much our industry is growing when it's going to be offered as a shop class in schools, and all the opportunities that it offers kids. Even have a customer that has had high school classes in his shop to be able to kind of shadow and see how everything works. So that alone just shows you how much this industry has changed, how much opportunity there is out there, whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're a fabricator. There's so many opportunities to get into this, and skills that you can acquire, whether it's wraps, window tinting now. I mean, everything has just come kind of just all together now for so many opportunities for so many young men and women to get into this industry and succeed. So it's really awesome to be part of that and watch that grow over the years for sure. So, and Craig, you've gotten to watch it a lot longer than me. So what do you think?
Yeah, well,
Craig watched it before we had cars. I mean, we didn't have cars then.
The pickup truck I learned to drive on had a 3 on the tree.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. I have this conversation with folks sometimes when it comes on the digital side, and there's always a Gerber edge sitting in the background. And every now and then you'll hear a customer go, "Oh, that edge sucks." But I always like to remind folks every now and then that before the edge, when the edge came along, it really was a game changer. It helped screen printers do small run labels. So it had that screen dither pattern to it when they wanted to do 4-color process. And then, it did fantastic spot colors. And the way I look at it is everything from that point on, which was probably mid-90s, to what we see today with the modern Vanguards and the Roland printers and the Epsons and the Mutos, that all started with the edge, And it's like my dad, when he had 6 sign painters working for him when I started working. And then when the Gerber 4B came out, he bought one. And all the sign painters, I remember, they all freaked out because they were like, "Oh my gosh, we're being replaced by a machine." But really, my dad bought it because he hated using an electro pounce and pouncing patterns to say Rockford, Illinois, and the DOT numbers. And the 4B it had a little pounce wheel on it. You could put paper on it, pounce your own patterns, in Helvetica and be done with it. That's why I bought it. And all that stuff, kind of morphed into what we have today. I think obviously one of the biggest changes we've seen around, even in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, is LED and how it's absolutely changed the industry. 15 or so years ago, you'd walk into a neon shop where the guys were repairing or bending glass, and you would talk about LEDs, which really was just white and red at the time. I think white was like $45 a foot, some ridiculous number like that, the old Agilite. And they'd kick you out. They wouldn't even let you back in, literally. But now, you and I were at a shop in Addison last week or 2 weeks ago that has actually a really nice working neon plant. And there's that's still an art and is still being done. But obviously, when you look at your slightly, Serious Sign podcast sign, that incorporates everything Neon used to do.
Yep.
And, everybody's doing it. Every sign shop, even the franchises. It's just amazing to me. If you would have told anybody 15 years ago, this is what you'd be looking at for, a United module, 1.2 watt module costs like 57 cents now, as opposed to $45. It would just, you wouldn't be able to
even
put
if you tell them that this sign is powered on less than 60 watts.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You can power that much light in that thing on less than 60 watts? Like,
right.
People are still like, that can't be possible, because you remember the transformers, like they'd kill you.
And that's probably 12 volt there, I would imagine.
That's 12 volt.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yes, it is. But yeah, it's crazy. Like if you think about, I always think it funny too that how technology changes in the sign industry is it's never new. It's just like an add-on to the existing one. So like when you talked about Gerber, like we could have cut vinyl and replaced painting with vinyl, but all the sign painters did is got Gerbers and then just replaced their patterns they were doing before with, now we just do them digitally. And then they were still going and painting all the signs before. Mm-hmm. And LED is now doing the same thing, right? It's like we're replacing neon, but in a way that it's still just, look, we're just trying to get the old effect of LED or neon with LED now. Like
we're less dangerous.
Yeah, we're not coming out with like this, oh, here's a new way to light the edge of a sign. We're like, no, we liked the way it looked before. Now I just want it to be this, and I don't have to bend glass for it. So you're not even changing you're just like adapting new technology to fit the same way you wanted to do it before and get the same look. And I think that's why you're seeing neon kind of come back around now, as people are like, okay, so now we're making LEDs into neon signs. Why don't we just go back and make neon signs? Like if that's the look we actually want, like we can still get that look. It's not like it doesn't exist. So I think it's interesting that they're so slow to change, and then it's almost like we go backwards in a way once we get too far into it.
The other thing too is aluminum composite materials and how it just rules the industry right now. Even the wall dogs, they all use it, whether they're all painting on it and applying it to walls and different structures. Obviously they still print direct or paint direct, but yeah, there's so much in our industry that's so much better today. Back in the old days, you'd get a load of 30 sheets of MDO and you'd have to prime them all and get them all ready for the next project. Now it's so much easier now to be profitable.
Yeah. And everything's gotten easier to handle and deal with. Yeah. And
that's
maybe slightly safer than it was before.
You would appreciate this, Mike. I always wanted to have the Wensco Olympics, the old school versus the new school, because we used to carry 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch MDO board, 1 or 2 at a time, depending, well, you probably 4, 4 at a time, or a box of gator foam. And it's like now with these sheets are so light, Centra, ACM, and Alumilite, and like back in the day, handling those 4x8s, the 3/4 in the wood, it's like, yeah, we always joked, or rolling polycarbonate. The guys will have a 8-foot piece of polycarbonate. It's like, we can't roll that. What do you mean you can't roll that? Yeah. It's like,
when
I'm too light for heavy work.
Yeah, too heavy for light work.
You know that line, huh?
If you're on audio, all he did was nod.
When I'm in Iowa, once in a while I come in and load with those guys. They know as soon as they see me, like, oh no. Because like if you call out 10 alpha panel, that's one trip. That's not 4 trips. That is one trip. No matter how many are on that order, it's one trip. And then they tried to get me because someone had 4 1/2 inch one side MDO, 4 1/2 inch one side MDO, and he called it out and he kind of looked at me and I'm like, no problem. Like, I think the record's 6. I came back with 4. Like, you don't understand old school. We only got to load boards and paint in glass. Like,
however, age catches up, because it was a couple of years ago that a customer came and got a 3/16 black gator foam. There's 15 in a box. And so I got it off the shelf and, MDO back in the day, you could get it up on the 8-foot end, kind of lean it over, get it on your shoulder. And I thought, oh, I could still do this with this box. And so I got it up on the 8-foot end. Be careful so you're not smashing the edges. You get it up, leaned it back. Yeah, those days were over. I was like, So I think. Can
somebody help me?
Yeah, I took 7 and 8. I was open to my that wasn't gonna work. That wasn't gonna work.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, every time you guys bring this up on a podcast, it just cracks me up about the sign painters that lick the brushes. So when I started with Wensco in 1991, little history. So Ralph sends me out into my territory, and one of the things I did is I emptied out an old toolbox from home, brought it in, and I filled it up with all these brushes, from striping brushes to quills and some fetches and that kind of stuff, because back then people still used them.
Those are all words I don't understand.
And every time you guys say that and you're telling the story, that is so doggone true. I mean, especially I go on the south side of Chicago, be on Highway 30 making sales calls on all these and these dudes were cashed out guys too. I mean, they'd been smoking their whole lives. They were probably 50 years old, but they looked 80. And I'd go into their shop. One guy would pick up the phone. Next thing I know, there'd be 3 or 4 more sign guys converging because I was there. I had the brush box. And then I'll be licking these brushes, literally. Stick them in, and then they do this. This is the one thing you didn't do. They'd have to flick it to see how it looked, see if it had some kind of a point or something on the end. And it's true. The ones they didn't want, they put back in the box. And I'm just sitting there going, okay, I got to go to Madison tomorrow. This will be pretty cool.
If you haven't heard the other ones, that's what I said at the counter. They used to come, lick the brush, and like, no, I don't want this one. They hand it back. The next guy would come in. Hey, you got that brush? Yeah. He'd lick it too. It's like,
especially on striping brushes too. Striping brushes and brown. Yeah, striping brushes and brown quills.
Did you lick the brushes in between stops?
Not a chance.
Oh,
I didn't even want to touch them.
A shout out to the guys that are still painting and doing the pinstriping, to go into their shops and watch them do that.
Oh yeah,
is amazing, and it's just. And that's the thing too, as we're talking about the industry growing and technology, but some of that old school way, it's still there and it's still very valid. Some of that pinstriping and the art and the steady hand those guys have to be able to create the wall dogs. I see some of the guys at some of the car shows we go to in Chicago. They're doing for auction for charities.
World of Wheels.
World of Wheels. They're doing the pinstriping and stuff. And shout out to our customers that are doing that stuff. It's awesome to see. Neon still, there's still guys that we have that, are staying true to the neon, bending glass. And so, or whether it's layering vinyl, we still have that too. For you race car guys out there, the days of where you would, put on black and then red and then chrome and then some fluorescent, and then printers came and it was like, oh my gosh, I could do a whole car, I could print all this today and letter it today. It's unbelievable. But there is still guys that do it that old school way. And just like anything, where it's old school music, whatever it is, the nostalgia of still doing it the old school way, it's kind of come back like vinyl. It's like there's something about it now. It's like it's cool to see the old ways still being used, and it still pops. So that's neat too. As much as technology has grown and changed, that is still very valid too.
Yeah. We talked about this when we were in. It was the Fast Signs Orlando show. And we drove around that center, and it's like probably 75% neon, like in those signs.
Yes.
And they're all old, right? They're all signs that have been there for a while and they're working fine. And that's what we were saying is the benefit is that like the reason neon has made it this far is because if you build a neon sign today, in Michigan, a little different. The cold doesn't agree with glass too much, but for the most part, if you build that thing's going to last. It's going to outlast you for the most part, as long as it's not totally put out in the elements. And then the same with sign painting, right? Like if you paint a sign, it's going to outlast vinyl by a mile.
Yeah.
So that's why it's still around, right? It's not like it's inferior. It's inefficient. Maybe the bending glass is way harder than putting that together, but it still works, right? If not in some aspects, it actually still works better than the replacement option does.
Sure.
Maybe not as efficient, definitely more expensive to run.
Well,
definitely takes a lot longer to paint a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, one-shot paint and the chromatic paints, especially one-shot, those lettering enamels, back before they took the lead and the heavy metals out of them, man, those colors and that paint would last forever, man. Back in the old days, it was not uncommon if they taught you how to paint a MDO sign correctly, it was not uncommon for an MDO sign with one-shot lettered enamel and maybe 4,000 white on the background to last 8 years.
Yeah, you can still see some of the painted banners at the Sign Museum in Cincinnati that are 40 years old plus, and they're still relatively bright for that old. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, especially if they were inside. Like even you've seen some of like they're super in now, right? But like these old like Pennzoil oil signs, right, that are still in. Like that still looks good because a lot of those hung under the canopy, meaning they didn't get a lot of sunlight, and they'll last forever, especially if they're not seeing any sun. Like UV is what was killing the paint. That's really all it was. Those signs are going to last 40 years and still you'll still be able to read them. They're not going to look great, but
see, and that's a shout out to the Sign Museum. That was my first national sales meeting with Wensco. I had to say that. Man.
Everybody knows I hate when we call our sales meeting a national sales meeting. Or what else does he call it? Whatever, because we're only in the Midwest, but our sales manager always calls it the national sales meeting. Like, this is our national headquarters here in Grand Rapids. Like, come on now.
It is.
So
our national.
When we were in Louisville a couple of years ago, we went to the Sign Museum. It was absolutely freaking awesome. And for anybody watching that is going to be anywhere near the Cincinnati area, you got to go. If you're in the sign industry, you've got to go. And our owner, Judy Nelson, she's really involved in that. But it's a step back into time. It's well worth your 2 or 3 hours to go through it. And
yep, for sure. I like love signs because they're a lot of especially the painted signs are not politically correct. Sure. Like not in this day. And it's just fun to think like, okay, they let that go out. Yeah. And at the time, nobody was offended. You put that out now, there's so many people that are offended.
Yeah. And it'll be like, it's like brands right? That put out.
Yeah, it's brands that put out like stuff like
correct signs.
Okay, you can't say that now, but like at the time you could say it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to watch. I just let like the Waterhead kid as funny as can be.
Yeah, but yeah, even like at the Sign Museum, like the gold leaf, if you've never seen that put down before, that is incredible. And some of the pieces they have in there, I mean, shoot, there's a couple $100 in gold just in those because it's real gold, right? So it's insane to see some of those pieces put up and how much work.
Guys used to, when they were surface gilding, they used to actually catch, when they were burnishing, they would catch the gold and save it. It was crazy. They didn't let it float away or anything like that.
When's the last time a gold sleeve left Wensco?
We sell once in a while. Not a lot, but remember when we used to have just cases of that stuff.
Yeah.
Even when I started, we still were selling it. We're way down obviously now, but there's hardly anybody doing it. It's the same with sign painting, right? Like we're still selling one shot, but there's not that many sign painters around. There's not that many people bending glass.
Well, we do still have one shot. We got asked that at a customer that I was with Craig. Like, yes, we still stock one shot paint. So we still have the colors. We can still get it for you. Quarts and pints. We still have it.
One more thing about neon is one of our former reps, John Campbell, who used to work for us, and he bends glass. And he sent a video, it's been over a year ago, to me and some other gentlemen. It's he was redoing a sign, and sorry, John, if you're watching this and I get it wrong, I think the transformer, it was a 7500 from 1950, and it still worked. And in the cabinet class last week, we were talking about putting your tongue on a power supply, and it's not going to feel good, but you're not going to die. When John arced that transformer, you're going straight to ride the lightning. I mean, you're done.
No doubt about it.
So I mean, just the safety aspect now with LEDs versus neon, it was just crazy that after that long, that thing still worked and had that much power. But super cool to see the difference, and you still pretty much get the same effect now.
Yeah. And Doug even says that in his presentation. He says much safer. He said there's a lot of people in the sign industry that aren't here because of neon, right?
Yeah.
But,
we all know people. We had customers.
Yeah.
Delivered to them one day. They tripped and they had the safety mechanisms off on their bombarder. And
or even went to
that was it.
Even repairing a sign up in a bucket truck, right, unharnessed and get zapped and just out of. You're not going to stop yourself, right? So it's definitely safer.
Yeah.
But yeah, the art of neon it's not going away. I mean, I understand why they're going away though, because we've tried to get 3 neon signs made.
Yeah, Bob Barnard, I know you listen once in a while. You still owe me a sign.
Yes.
I bet I can get, I'll get that place in Chicago. I bet he'd make me one. I didn't think about that. He's already making me one sign.
Wait, can I just, me another? Yeah. Do any of them listen?
Yeah.
If you are listening to this right now and you bend glass, we would like a neon sign. So just send us an email.
Yes, please.
Podcast.
Number 58.
At Wensco.com.
Yep. Yeah. Please send us one. We want a neon sign to replicate the same one we have here in this room.
Podcast 57. I hear that's not that good.
No, it's pretty good.
Who was on it?
57 was pretty good.
Is that the
just
latest
Domingo.
one? Oh, just Domingo?
Yep.
Yeah.
A little short for this table, isn't he?
That's why when you sat down, you were...
I was going to say, holy cow.
Yep.
This chair's jacked up really high. I feel like I'm wearing a girdle right now. Either that or I need to lose another 12 pounds or something.
Well,
Domingo's outside the door listening. He's going to bust in here any minute and have it out with
He
Craig.
will listen to this episode, so... I always just, my favorite part is, the episode's good. When Monday morning I walk by Domingo's office and he's just smiling at his screen.
Or he's laughing. Like I walk in, he's literally laughing out loud. Like he was in the episode too, so he already heard it once.
I've said this before. Sometimes you'll say a joke that's so good. When you listen back, you still laugh at your own joke. And you laugh knowing it's coming. You're like thinking about it in your head like, man, that was funny. And then you say it and you're like, that was actually kind of was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
You said something earlier today. It's when people come up and they say something that you said in the podcast that you said like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
They might have just listened to that podcast and they say it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. Like, they act like I just said
I don't
it.
remember saying, and I do have a lot of people that come up and say like, cause I've said like, I hate sales reps. I know you hate me, but can we talk? I'm like, I didn't say I hate you directly.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. But yeah, Craig said he has to listen to the podcast before he leaves the office on Monday because people will start quizzing him on it. So he's got to be prepared.
I do. I know that goes against your get in the car and get out there, but if I don't listen to it, I know I'm going to get at least 3 questions on a Monday minimum.
Yep.
And but
I know I'm going to get a ton of text
2 anyway. So
I know I'm going to get a ton of text every Monday, especially when we say some controversial stuff. But usually it's everybody like, oh, it's a good episode or
controversial. Has that
controversial?
Has that happened on this podcast?
That's a pretty big word.
I don't. Yeah.
On occasion,
way too big of a word for me.
How many syllables is that?
What's a syllable?
Not a syllabus, a syllable.
I forgot.
Controversial. Yeah, whatever. I don't think
syllables.
I don't think I was on beat.
He did it right, but he might not have counted.
Yeah, I don't think I was on beat.
It could have been controvision.
Yeah,
it's true.
We don't need Pat on here. Oh, wait, he's going to listen.
That'd
be a 4-hour episode.
Pat keeps telling me he wants to come on. That's actually not true. He said he didn't want to come on. Is actually what he said.
Why
Pat's kind of shy unless you have him on the phone.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to be on video. I think it's his problem. That might be a lot of people's problem with coming on. But
well, hey Pat, look at me.
Yeah, he did it, Pat. Come
I'm
on,
a good looking guy.
If Craig can do it, guys,
Craig made it.
I promise you, anyone can do it.
But yeah, no. The nice thing about Wensco that I think a lot of our customers appreciate and know is just that the boots on the street, the folks in the building, the drivers that load their own trucks that are branded with our own brand and deliver to all of our customers. It's all about service and delivery. And we try to take care of our customers the best we can. We're very competitive, all of us, no matter how old we are.
Well, and you take Grand Rapids, Detroit, Chicago, and Davenport that have been around. I think Davenport started in 92 or 93.
I think 93.
But all of our branches that have been around, the loyalty of the customers that we have that have been with us through the whole journey, when you start thinking about the people that have just walked side by side with us as we've grown, watched them grown, has been really neat. Just, the people, you just look back and you think, wow, man, we've been together for a long time.
Yeah, it's when the open house comes or something like that, and I see him, and I was like, man, I used to hand things to the counter when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
And now, like, you're an adult with kids with you?
Yeah, good point. Or you've literally seen the kid from they come in and put the kid on the counter, and now that kid's coming in to pick up stuff or taking over the shop from their folks. Yeah. That's dating ourselves.
Yeah, now some of those customers are retiring. You know, some are closing their businesses, some are just retiring. There's other people coming up through. But overall, you're right. We've got a great brand and a really, really good following.
Yeah, we do.
So this is from your perspective, right? Because you left Wensco at one point and then had to come back. So we've talked about this before. I didn't realize Craig was on the list either.
That's Mike did too.
Oh,
both these guys have left and come back.
You tried to leave, so it's just me. I'm the exception to the rule here.
I quit. And, I mean, it's up on my board.
It didn't work though. You're still here. So, but anyways, to say what do you think makes, and this can be sign related or not, right? But what makes Wensco different from other places
it's a culture. Lived? I mean, for any customers that could be listening, I mean, Wensco's a great, great culture. And what I mean by that is I always like to say it's a jeans and t-shirt culture because I'm kind of a jeans and t-shirt person, but so are all of our customers. And we live a certain value system. We just expect certain things from everyone. But this is truly a family culture, family organization. There's a lot of fun. We all laugh. We all get mad. We all kind of complain once in a while, but everybody's pretty close-knit, and it shows in the way we go to business, both professionally and just, through a lot of fun. And I think our customers see that too. Trucks are clean. Trucks are new. Drivers care. There's nobody employed by Wensco from the top down or up to the top that doesn't have a say in what's going on and doesn't care about the customer. It's being gone for 21 years between Wensco gigs. The Wensco organization today is way, way, way different than it was the first time around. We're a very, very well-run professional organization.
That's why we had to open twice in Chicago.
Yeah.
Just had to wait for me to come back.
We had one false start, and then we got it figured out the second time, It was like what do they call that in tennis? You get two serves.
Yeah, lat.
We don't get...
Think about that.
No, it's a second serve.
Second serve, yeah.
In Chicago, there's actually two guys that are from when you guys, merged or bought NM Supply. Jose's still there and Tony.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they came over. They're still with us. And, Jose's the ambassador.
Yeah, he is the ambassador.
He is the ambassador. Customers call him that.
Yep.
The first time a customer said that to me, I was like, who? Who?
Yeah, and just to echo what Craig said, we talk all the time about it's all about relationships. What do we mean by that? Well, what that means to Wensco is that when you come in, if you've been buying from us any amount of time, we know who you are. Hey, how was vacation? How's things going? How's your kids? It's that family vibe that when you come in, there's value there because there is. We genuinely care about our customers. And it's not just an individual thing. We as a company and as a team do care about our customers, and it's about the relationship as far as actually, we can also, how many friends have you made in this industry? Like legit friends that you still talk to, even people that have retired in the industry, but you still talk to them. And it's so fun over the years to have those relationships that have grown, but also see other people's relationships with customers grow, that when they call you and like we talked today earlier, Mike, you're going to have those difficult conversations at times. That's just the nature of business, the nature of relationships. But, you come together, you figure things out and you keep moving on, you keep growing together. And I think that's what's awesome about, Wensco is we're fully invested in. It's not just you're not customer number. Oh, what's your customer number? You're just customer. Oh, okay. Thanks for the order. Click. It's we actually want a relationship with you. And we've always been like that. That's the thing. I think that's and a shout out to Judy for building a company that that is built on that, because it's been huge. So.
Yeah. Earlier today in our meeting, I talked in the very beginning, and after we broke for lunch, Judy called me. Judy's going to be listening to me. She said, I don't know if I like the softer version of Mike. Like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm just waiting until the end to say, hey, look, this is there. Like, you got to butter these guys up a little bit. But that's the reality of it is, we talk about it. We're going to fight. We're going to argue. It doesn't mean we're all not working towards the same goal. It doesn't mean we hate each other, but sometimes you got to have those arguments. And sometimes you got to have, you got to get a little bit angry if something ain't going right. But the reality is we all come back together like, hey, we'll all go have a beer at the end. But then I said the same thing, like, people are going to have bad days. You don't know what they're going through.
Sure.
Like, you have no idea what they're going through. And if they spout off, that doesn't mean you get rid of them. You don't get mad at them. Like, you don't know what happened earlier that day. You don't know what happened that night before. You don't know if their family's going through something. So that's my softer side of me. But then the other side's like, hey, leave home at home, which I used to be in. You're at work now. But the other part that, Craig said is ethics. And I refuse to break rules, when it comes to the business side. Because there's times we have to walk away from deals. Like, I have to walk away from a deal because their pricing says you have to sell it at this, no less. And there's competitors out there that are selling it less. The customer comes to me, hey, you got to sell it less. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not, it's not right. And you can turn them in, you can do whatever, but the reality is I'm just going to walk away from it. It's not worth, your soul to oh, I got to get this deal. I'm going to have to break the rules. It's just not who we are. We're not going to do something that's, ethically wrong, morally wrong.
Yeah.
We're not going to break rules. We're not going to cheat anybody. We're simply going to run a good, honest business.
Yeah. Well, and you can't, you have to be honest. And, Wensco's involved in so many other things too. We're involved with the Wisconsin Sign Association, the Illinois Sign Associations that I'm with, Mike's with, and many more. There's a lot of people watching. There's a lot of people watching all the time. People you don't know. So, it's I can't remember if it was a story about Mickey Mantle or if it was a story about Joe DiMaggio or Lou Gehrig, but they always went out when they got to the plate and did their best, no matter how they felt. They had a little injury or something, because there might be somebody coming to that baseball game for the very first time that had never seen them play, and they always wanted to play their best. Mickey Mantle would hit a home run and he would round the bases, never look at the pitcher, just round the bases, because his philosophy was that pitcher probably already feels bad enough for throwing me that home run pitch, so I'm not going to upstage him. But as a professional sales company, which basically is what Wensco is, we owe it to our customers and everybody else, our vendors, and all the other people that we meet along the way, to be ethical and honest. I mean, we just do. Mike and I were working the Wisconsin Sign Association meeting last fall, and I was having one of my wallflower moments that, it was getting time for us to give our vendor presentations. And I was sitting back going, man, I'm kind of digging the vibes in the room. So it's like, hey, Mike, go up and give the vendor, caught him totally off guard. And I anytime Mike's in the room now at a Illinois or Wisconsin Sign Association, I'm going to let him do it, because he did such an awesome job and he was loud. Everybody could hear him.
He is loud.
Yeah. It was really, really good. We had a great showing, but just little things like that every day.
Yeah, I can. So before Wensco, I worked at a cell phone carrier basically before I came here. And the reason I hated it so much is basically the opposite of what you're talking about, right? Where you just get put in a spot where you realize the customer's in an awful spot and you have zero power to help them, right? So it's just like, I can't help you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is all the tools I've given you, and I can't solve your problem. At Wensco, we couldn't tell you the amount of times we've lost money making it right. And the vendor on their side oftentimes doesn't help all the way to make it right. But we'll never leave them stranded, right? I couldn't even tell you the amount of times we lost money, like replacing a product or sending out something new or sending out an alternative option where we felt like it was on the vendor side, but the vendor was like, no, it's on the customer side. And we're like, well, somebody has to make it right. So it's going to be us. That's kind of where I think we're thriving right now. Is we'll always make it right. And we just keep hearing more and more stories of that not happening across the industry. So it feels good to be like, yeah, I think we're sitting in the right spot.
There's a certain printer manufacturer that we don't sell that still owes us $60,000. Like, we return machines that they wouldn't take back, that they wouldn't help us service, that they wouldn't do anything for us. And the reality is we returned them and we threw them out, and they didn't do anything to help us. And now they've come, hey, they really need us, but no, you need to write me a check for $60,000. And they'll know who I'm talking about by the thing, but I ain't gonna say their name. But the reality is we had to do what's right. Like, they weren't returning the machine. They were blaming the customer, or they were blaming this, whatever that might be. But the reality was, that's my customer. We're gonna have to eat this one. Yeah. And we ate 2 of them.
I mean, we literally just did one in Iowa, almost that exact same situation, right? Where it's completely on the vendor, but we've already fixed the issue. We haven't been paid. We're just currently we're out of machine.
Yeah.
But it's what needed to be done in the moment. We're going to fix it one way or another.
Yeah. We ran someone from Grand Rapids to Iowa, and from 5:00 at night, we found out about this.
Yeah.
By 9:00 the next morning in Iowa, I think they had the machine going.
It was in Chicago at 9 and Iowa at whatever that is, 11. Must be.
So
that's kind of what
we just had one, that GraphTech plotter. That was crazy as heck.
Hey, Craig, I think we're missing some pieces, buddy.
we show up to this place to do a GraphTech plotter because they'd struggled with another brand for over a month, and it just wasn't working out for them. So we get called in, and I get on the phone. Tater gets everything set up here. Their courier comes and picks it up from Milwaukee. They deliver it. Mike and I show up the next day. Mike opens up the lid and he goes, "Hey, just a plotter in here. There's nothing else." And I went, "What?" And I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. No, I lifted the lid. Man, we looked all over that shop. There had to be 20,000 square feet in that place. And we looked at the lid. There's no stand. There's nothing. I mean, it's just all that was in there was just a plotter. So the interesting thing is, once we established that, okay, so there's a problem, we get back on the horn. Tater runs 2 of them over to Chicago on a Monday morning. I went in, I put it together. Mike shows up, kind of does his little magic foo-foo thing to it, and then we deliver it the next day to the customer, get it running. Mark Huerta shows up for the training. I mean, the stinking plotter only costs like $7,000 or something like that. Can you imagine?
We had 5 people tied into it by the time it was all done.
Two transits, and it's just nuts. But the customer to this day, I went to collect the bill, and I was talking to the owner's wife, and I sent her all the finishing paperwork, and she sent me a really nice email back. And basically, to cut to the chase, is like, I think there might be an opportunity for us to do some more business together. And it was all, I'm not blaming the manufacturer. Who knows what happened? The bottom line is, it was like, kick it in the turbos and get going. We got to get
and all the people willing to help. Tater, especially, like you call Tater, like, I'm going to be in at 4 a.m. I'm going to have it there by whatever. And and we don't even and especially those, I think we all a little bit, some of it's not about the amount. Some of it's about, we hate when we don't get something perfect.
We're competitors.
We absolutely, yeah.
We're very competitive.
We are very competitive. We hate when it's not perfect. We aren't happy.
Nothing's gonna get in the way. I mean, now basically the way I kind of looked at it when I did confirm that there was really just a plotter in there, I was like, all right, game on, roll up the sleeves.
Yeah.
We got to get this thing fixed. You know, I often wonder what I probably would have been the guy that actually died on Apollo 13 because I probably would have went, oh no. But no, you just rolled up the sleeves and everybody, you know, over a plotter. Yep. Imagine what Wensco would do over a $150,000 or $250,000 flatbed printer.
Sure. And that whole situation came from you, opportunity that came for you to get them into a better system that was going to work for them. And that's one thing I love about Wensco too is yes, we're in sales and we want to move product and printers and all that stuff. But what we really want to do is get you into the correct equipment or products that's going to help you grow. I just had a customer last week that I was at that has a specific type printer that was sold to them, and it was way overkill for what they need. And now they're in trouble because their ink is expiring. They feel they were led astray just for a sale, and now they're very frustrated. And it was heart-wrenching to hear them, the pinch they're in, because they felt like they were led astray when they said, hey, this is what we need, and we got sold this, which is way overkill for what we need. And that's where, for us, we come in and assess the situation and guide you to the stuff that is going to fit your shop, not just, you know, hey, we just want to move some product, get it in there, get some equipment in there, and then, hey, good luck. And so, yeah, that's one huge thing I love about us and how we go as well.
Quit pounding on the table. Rick's going to have a fit.
Quit pounding on the table, Rick. Doggone it. Didn't you catch it?
I know you guys can't see Rick. He's not in the camera, but he wears his hair just like me and Craig. Craig's a little shaggier than us, but...
No, I'm growing mine out.
I could tell.
Salesman haircut.
It's kind of an afro right now. It's a little humid outside.
Like a brother from another mother.
Yeah.
I had to move the mic a little bit. I felt like I was shrinking. Felt like I was going to be like Domingo, the shortest guy at the table.
Yeah.
Well, we got to kind of wrap this up.
Yeah.
That went quick.
That was pretty funny. We were talking 15 minutes in. We're like, we don't have anything to talk about. Now we're 58 minutes in.
Holy cow.
And, yeah, so that's what it's like to work at Wensco. The point of doing these episodes with people that have no idea they're coming on is kind of the point of, we're just trying to get you to know, here's who works at Wensco. Right?
Yeah, we don't want pre-planned responses.
Yeah, we're a company of people, really. That's kind of what we try and push it as.
Jeans and t-shirt guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we literally I think we talked about that in episode 1 when we made a joke that it's a Slightly Serious Sign podcast. And I said, because if you walked into a shop in khakis and polos, you'd be overdressed.
Yeah. And remember you guys made fun of me that time I was dressed up, like where everybody said, what are you? I literally didn't have any more jeans. Because my laundry person's been on strike for a year.
Yeah.
But
you were wearing white khakis.
I was wearing white khakis and a polo, and everybody at the shop said, what are you dressed up for?
Yeah. Thought something happened. I don't know what's going on.
Going to a wedding or something?
But no. Even in the last with Wensco, I think even in the last 3-4 years, it's changed from that too, where I think it used to be a little more dressed up now, and it's
the whole
we've gotten way more
like
casual and we've grown in business. So if that gives you an idea of how professional this industry is as a whole, that's kind of where we're at with it. So hopefully you guys got to know Craig and Mike a little better. They've both been around a while. They'll hopefully still be here for a little while. Craig says he can't retire within 5 years because you said he was. So he's at least 6 years from retirement.
And
now.
like the last time I came
If I would have known he said that, I would have said, hey, we're looking towards 2026.
Nobody tells me what to do.
And I left and come back twice. And
Helen's the only one who tells me what to do.
And Judy said, "Are you home now?" Yes, Judy, I'm home.
Yeah, you're back.
The last time I came back, that was in 2009.
The last thing we were supposed to do in the intro, so Rick's bugging me to do it, so we'll do it in our outro. I'll start with Mike because this is what I always make fun of Iowa for. If we have customers in your area who are looking for good places to eat, we usually do this as the intro. Where place do you like to go to eat? Where do they go?
Well, you guys know because you've been there a few times. The Machine Shed, right by Wensco, is always a good choice. Great food, and then our downtown's got some great bar and grills as well. yeah, so there's a lot of options. I would say the machine shed,
How many blocks is downtown Davenport?
Block and a half.
Yeah, it's but we're growing. They've had it. They're growing. Well,
That's not underwater, right?
the Quad Cities, because I know everybody that lives in the Quad Cities or surrounding area is going to hear this, and they're going to be like, "Dude, you know, you got to support." The Quad Cities is weird because, like, Davenport's downtown's not that huge, but if you take the Quad Cities, which is considered Davenport, Bettendorf, Moline, and Rock Island, I might be corrected on that by somebody. All of our downtowns are pretty big. They're just
4 blocks total.
they're just split by the Mississippi River.
All 2 blocks.
So yeah.
They're one rainfall from being gone.
Four blocks. Yeah, exactly.
rain.
They're one big rain from being gone.
Yes.
If Lake Michigan gets too much water, they're done for. They're all going to get washed away.
Defend the pizza.
Defend the pizza. Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys have? We
No,
think
you
your
don't make
pizza's
pizza
horrible.
Your pizza's terrible.
We
over there.
usually, so because of where we are, it's like you could find thin crust, thick crust. We're close to Chicago, so a lot of stuff in the Quad
You're not
Cities is
that close
based
to
off
Chicago.
A little over 2 hours. Yeah, so yeah, that's close in my world. Yeah, that's still Chicago still feels like home. There's Bears fans, Packers fans.
That's not even a hand grenade.
That's the
throw.
joke I make about Indiana and Illinois is if your reference to where you live is how close you are to Indianapolis or Chicago, you live in the middle of nowhere. That's
no
always the
doubt.
answer.
Or when you see a blank
Yeah, it's
face, where are you from? Davenport, Iowa? It's about 2 hours west of Chicago. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know where you're at.
They named
it's
the
even better
sofa
when they
after
give you
your town, I
when they
think.
give you it's an hour away from another city I've never heard of before.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it'd be like Des Moines, right? They're like, yeah, it's an hour out of Des Moines. Where's Des Moines? Okay, I don't know.
No respect, Iowa. No respect.
I mean, yeah, and there's like you run out of sports teams over there.
Yeah,
So it's not really helpful.
The Iowa Hawkeyes are our NFL team. I mean, that's what all Iowans. Sorry, Iowa State fans, but it's
Hey, they're just as good as the Bears.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good game. The
Could've
Hawkeyes
probably
versus the
beat the
Bears.
Bears last
Yeah.
You should have said White Sox.
We should set that up.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually have my White Sox socks on right now.
Oh, good.
I'm wearing them as
You
we
ready to
speak.
roll?
But you can't.
Does it
can't
make
see
you want to
them.
win more games?
You see
Yeah. They're going to get at least 15 this year.
At least 15.
Oh, Rick took a picture. That's
We'll
awful
post
weird.
it.
It's the truth.
Rick was taking pictures under the table.
It's a good
It was
thing.
starting to look
Good thing I
questionable.
didn't show him my tattoo.
All right, so the last one is
So-
Craig, places to eat.
So if I'm in Rockford, I'm eating at Lino's, which is our local Italian joint. Great pizza, great pasta. I mean, it's like I've taken Chuck DeSillo there, probably taken a couple other guys there too, and I can't remember. If I'm into bar food, I'm going downtown to the river to Prairie Street Brewery. That's one of my favorite places. They have one of the great quesadillas of all time, and they make their own beer down there. Their Oktoberfest is freaking awesome. If I'm in the Branch area, we're going to the 601 Bar and Grill every time.
Yep. That's
That's
great.
like our big hangout.
That's our
I like
hangout.
Crazy Pour too for bar food, but
Yep.
601
was good.
it's actually owned by one of our customers, but the food there.
That dessert. Oh,
That dessert is amazing.
Yeah, what does he call that?
I don't know.
It's some
Like,
kind
every
of
time
an
it's all
elephant
different.
ear straw.
Funnel
or-
fries.
Is that what it
Funnel
is?
fries.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what
that
they
was
are on the
good.
menu, I
The
think.
pizza's really good.
Yeah,
wings are
they have
wings are
They have a
delicious.
Detroit style pizza there that'll.
Which is ironic to
it's-
get Detroit style pizza in
phenomenal.
Chicago.
They had to go to a class to learn how to make that, a pizza making class.
Is it really?
Seriously. Yeah, there's a certain process of making that pizza. Otherwise, it would take forever.
When I make pizza, all I do is read the back to see how long I have to put it in the oven.
exactly. Yeah.
Take off wrapper, put on rack.
That's how
Bake 425 and
That's
Bake
how,
It works really
45,
good as long as
15
you
minutes.
remember
Yeah,
to tape
exactly.
the wrapper off.
Yep.
that's how the restaurants in Iowa make all their pizza.
That's why Mike knows it so well.
that's it.
But I think you hurt his feelings. I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, we have pizza.
Happy Joe's and Harris. Those are the two old school pizza places in Davenport. They're good. That's good stuff.
They use
That's
Jack's or DiGiorno's.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not delivery. It's Iowa pizza.
Rough crowd.
So, anyways, that was all. We were doing an outro with that one. So, hopefully, you guys found some good place to eat.
And thanks for coming on.
Hey,
Yeah,
thank you guys for
appreciate
having
you
us.
guys.
Really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Appreciate making the drive all the way up here just to do the podcast. We really appreciate you guys.
Hey,
It's
no
nice
sweat.
of you.
It was
sweat.
awesome.
I mean, you didn't know that's why you were driving up here, but that was
It
the
was
whole
an
plan.
unexpected honor to be on. So thank you guys.
Good. Well, thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.
And hopefully the next time you see us, this whole office will be finished. So
Yeah,
thanks
this
for
is
watching.
great.
Looks
And,
pretty cool.
We'll see you next time. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
bye.